We have been talking about Barack Obama, and that's a great thing. But you know, I was very privileged to have been in the campaign of Reverend Jesse Jackson as deputy campaign manager. And I say that because I learned something I think fundamental about agendas. They are not only a set of issues, and everybody recognizes that you got to have agenda if you go to the grocery store. I mean, that's where the goats can get it. But an agenda is also an organizing principle. That's right. It also tells you where you are in history, and it allows you to centralize your power. We are talking about how black folk use their power. That's what this discussion is about. That's right. You can't use your power effectively if you don't have a direction to go in. If you don't know what you want, you cannot use your power. Black people lined up to vote for President Barack Obama. They lined up to vote as individuals, but they lined up to vote 97% as a community. And 97% of us had expectations about what would come back to our community. Those votes were power. You gave your power with the expectation that that power theoretically would be returned to your community in terms of goods and services. That's the theory of what it was we did. Now, we were expecting that. All right, I think, as I said, that we have talked too much about Barack Obama. Because when you put $787 billion on the table, and you try to make sure that it gets to the states, that's an error in terms of the history of how we've done things, because traditionally, when Republicans have been in power, the money has gone where? To the states. When Democrats have been in power, it has gone to cities. So that was a fundamental error, sending money down through the states. Last year, I'm at a poverty tour in Mississippi. Black folk who are still there, dispossessed, waiting on Obama. While the governor of the state of Mississippi is saying he won't take any stimulus money. So obviously, some power has to be trained at the governor. Not Obama, because he doesn't run the political system. At the governor, and at the mayors, and at the county officials. That is the political system. So we can't sit here and just talk about Obama while black people are suffering. In a way, you see, that's the easy thing. That's the easy thing. We give the governors a pass. We give the county officials a pass.
But Dr. Walters,
we give the mayors a pass.
You're not suggesting, I want to move on, but I want to ask first. You're not suggesting that it's either or. You're suggesting both and?
Both and.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Because presidents have influence.
Okay.
Presidents can say to governors, presidents can say to their cabinet officials, I would like this money spent in a certain way. Right. Now, they don't have to ballyhoo.
All right.
But they can pass that word along.
Yeah.
Now, the problem I think we have right now is that our president has, to some extent, confused the issue. Because when he came into office, well, he said, I can't govern with respect to race and ethnicity. That confused the issue. Because almost every president of the United States has done that. And this president, 2 weeks after he was in, signed what? The Equal Pay Act. A month later, he says we're going to change what? Don't ask, don't tell. If you look at the presidential memo that he wrote, it had to do with Native Americans. I want my cabinet officials to bring in tribal elders. Executive order, Asians and Pacific Islanders. I want my cabinet officials to sit down and talk with Asian Pacific Islanders to expand their participation in government programs. I could go on. Well,
I got to move on, but your point here is, though, that he has been doing that since he took office for other ethnicities. Is that your point?
And us.
Okay.
And HBCUs. In the last budget that he submitted,
right.
She'll tell you, $85 million for 10 years.
A year for 10 years.
For 10 years.
Absolutely.
So
Hispanic serving institutions.
Your point is that it can be done.
That's the point I made. It can be done.
Got it.
And it has been done.
Right.
And he has confused the issue.
Got it.
And I think that's one of the reasons why we're here today.
Let me please thank Professor Walters for being here. I want to move. There are any number of reasons, but there's one reason above all else why I asked him to join us today, because whenever you invite him, you know you get mail saying, why you invite him? Please welcome Minister Louis Farrakhan. Now, let me tell you, there are any number of reasons why I invited the brother minister to be at this table today. But I want to say to you directly that the primary reason I wanted you here today is because I want to hear this for myself, and I wanted to see you when I heard it, and I know we all want to hear it as well. You were very clear 2 years ago when you said that you were going to take a particular approach to President Obama, to then Senator Obama's campaign. You were going to take my paraphrasing here, you were going to take a particular approach to his running for the White House because you did not want people to take your words. You didn't want Farrakhan to be used against Barack Obama in his journey toward the White House. And so you took a particular approach. That was 2 years ago when he said he was running. Now he's been in the White House for a year. So it's been 2 years. The Minister Farrakhan has chosen a particular approach because he did not want to be used by these forces against Barack Obama. Tell me why that is the case, number one. And in a contemporary sense, how do you respond to folk who think that that approach is Farrakhan walking on eggshells, so to speak?
I love black people, and I make no excuses for that. And I'm interested in that which our people want more than what sometimes I think is best for them. In New York, David Dinkins wanted to be mayor. But he knew that in order to be mayor in a city where there was so much Jewish power, he had to pander to that ethnicity. And he beat me up on television over and over again in ads. I could have gone into New York literally and destroyed the brother. Excuse me for being very frank. But I felt that black people in New York wanted a black mayor, so I remained quiet. Not because I couldn't defend myself, not because my ego was bruised by what he was saying, but our people in New York wanted a black mayor. They got it, and what is the result? At Reverend Jackson's affair one day, Percy Sutton came to me and patted me on my shoulder, the late Percy Sutton, and thanked me for not hurting David Dinkins' chances to be mayor